Well, we addressed it last year. We drafted Kyle Trask number 2 for a reason. Fits everything that we want to do as a quarterback, and really, really like what I saw for a year. So I doubt drafting is an option. For all the other guys, it's going to be a trade. Don't trade by yourself. You got to have a partner. So that could be out of the question.
What up, Bucs fans? We are back. It is Real Bucs Talk live on YouTube. Again, appreciate all the support and likes and subscribes that you guys have given us over the last couple of years. It's been awesome. But yeah, a lot going on in the NFL. So as you see there, it looks like, talking about a little bit of Kyle Trask being option number 1 as it is right now. But a lot to get into. Obviously, Ali Marpet retiring, the scouting combine over the weekend, free agency coming up next week, believe it or not. And also have to figure out who to franchise tag. Chris Godwin could be tagged again, or are they going to tag Carlton Davis? So a lot to get into. I'm your host, Michael Plus, joined as always my co-hosts, Mark Ramirez. And Mark, just your thoughts on that video to start off, and obviously a lot of Bucs news coming around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, to us, we've been talking Kyle Trask, I think, all offseason. I think if anyone who listens to us or follows us knows that's who we think should be option 1. And it's cool to hear Bruce Arians coming out saying he's option 1, option 2 to trade, but there needs to be 2 to tango. I mean, everyone else wants someone else. You drafted this guy second round for a reason. Let's see what it is. He's seen him for a year. He knows the system. Logically, you would think that'd be the progression, right? Build homegrown pieces and build around your defense, which has always been good under Bruce Arians. So I think that is the path, but you never know. It's all talking season right now, and hell, they could have a works in something. Like, no one knew of Tom Brady until the first day of free agency. So something could splash. You never know. Like, even Ken Barrett's in there talking about Matt Ryan. We'll get to that, but I still don't see a trade happening. I mean, we'd have to trade away pieces. We're losing pieces based off of retirements right now, and still, you never know who someone else could retire again. People were saying it's too late in the process. No, it's never too late. I mean, guys it's when they want to call it. So, Ali Marpet, again, thank you so much for the time, and you were amazing when you were here. Literally from the second he stepped on the football field, you knew he was a all-pro, Pro Bowl caliber player. It took winning for the rest of the league to find that out. But other than that, I like the question marks going around, but it's exciting in one way, but scary because you don't know how good or bad this team could be next year. But bring all the questions possible, and I'm just excited.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to go off of what Mark was saying, about Kyle Trask, obviously he's option 1 because he's the only quarterback on the roster. So, that is something they're going to put out there. That's something they're going to say, and obviously show their support of the second round pick. But when you look at Kyle Trask, obviously I think he is a good option going into this season, just based on what this team could look like. And you're just not sure of who is going to be back and who is available via trade. And, Bruce Arians talked about it. It's either a trade or it's Kyle Trask and Blaine Gabbert. And right now, I think those are probably going to be the options. So you want to keep that cap hit low at quarterback for now until you can, maybe go for that big quarterback into the future, or, maybe one of these guys surprise us and maybe that is Kyle Trask. We just have to wait and see. We don't know. As far as Ali Marpet, again, I echo what Mark said. He was a consummate professional, obviously an all-star player when he just came into the league. He was pretty much great wherever he was played at, whether it be left guard, center, right guard, could play tackle if they needed him to. So he was just a outstanding pro and an even better person. And I wish him nothing but the best. I'm sure he'll be very successful, whatever he does going forward.
Yeah, and good luck. Only 28. Still, that one blew my mind, to be honest. Like, damn, it's just keep coming. But another thing you were touching on, it's funny to me that they mention Blaine Gabbert so often and so much, considering he's not even on the roster right now. He's a free agent, and they're pretty much talking like he's on the team. And they say how, you don't talk about guys that are on the team. He's not under contract, so how openly they talk about it. So to me, that almost solidifies, he's coming back.
Right.
And my thing is, honestly, think it may be a competition in camp, but those two are going to battle it out. Gabbert's probably going to win it, play about first 4 or 5 games, and then they're going to be like, okay, get the hell out of the way. Let's let the guy kind of take over and eventually just take over the team. I honestly think that's how it's going to be, based on money, based off of future preparation by Jason Light getting this guy last year, learning under the best, and Brady learning the system for a year. This is just how he's been brought up from high school to college and now pro. Why the hell not? Let him learn the system. He's a smart guy. He fits, like BA said, everything that this offense needs. Bigger guy, can throw the deep ball very well, accurate to all parts of the field. Okay, guys, he doesn't have a cannon. You never know. Maybe with this improved mechanics he has. We don't know anything. All I've seen is him catching fish on his Instagram. So other than that, I mean, I still think the potential is there for Kyle Trask. Who else gets brought in? I don't know. Like, we were joking about a week ago about Anthony Gordon or some of these other guys who are free agents. They're wild cards. You don't know. Maybe they do bring in competition like that just to see what else is there, or the future backups or anything. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, it's definitely an option. I mean, they could go to maybe a Teddy Bridgewater just to have competition that way. I mean, they showed interest in the past with him. There could be other free agents that they, look at just to bring in depth. You could go in the draft and maybe draft another quarterback, but I think it would be later rounds, maybe like I forget the guy's name. I think it's Cole Kelly. He's a big dude, from a small school, played at, I think it was Arkansas, if I'm not mistaken, then transferred somewhere else. So that could be an option. It kind of fits their mold. He's like 6'7", 240. So, I mean, that's kind of like the BA style quarterback. I could see either him or maybe a Carson Strong that, maybe he falls and they like his game. But I think options are just very limited, and it's unfortunate that it is this offseason that's what it is, but they have to move on. And I think their sole focus right now is shoring up other positions where there's a lot of free agents that they're trying to get back. And it starts with Chris Godwin, Ryan Jensen, Carlton Davis. Those big 3 guys right there. Which ones are coming back to the team?
Yeah, like, again, it's the talking season. You're going to see stories out every 2 seconds. Oh, this happened. This happened. You heard the crap of Tom Brady and BA. Oh, honeymoon's over. Bullshit all over the place. So the latest ones are Chris Godwin's likely to get a franchise tag again. Carlton Davis has a message out there saying, oh, something about money and blah, blah, blah. BA wanting to bring back Sue, JVP, and I believe Gronk. They're all saying, oh, it's trending towards this is happening. No one knows. Would I want all of them to come back? Yeah. Are we going to be able to find ways to make the money work and convince them to stay, even though it's not Tom Brady at quarterback? That's a whole other thing. That it's not. They're not just going to come back because it's the Tampa get discount. Like, Brady was the discount. He was the guy that helped you bring guys in. Now these are guys saying, I'm at the end of my career. Either I'm going to win or I want money. Can Trask solidify them that they're going to win? I don't know. And I guess, or do you want to bring up this Matt Ryan topic before we go on to the full team?
We can get into the questions, and obviously, appreciate you guys in the chat. Feel free to continue to ask away. We'll try to get to as many as we can. Obviously, let's start with Bud Cannabis. He was talking about, tight ends, and obviously we don't know with Gronk. We don't know with OJ Howard. The only tight end on your team is Cameron Brate, and he might not be on the team this year because of his cap situation. So, the only guy I've seen around for free agency that I would like, that could be cheap and maybe a, kind of comeback player of the year kind of guy that, could still have potential and grow and be good is Max Williams, I believe, from Arizona. I think he was with Baltimore, but then he went to Arizona, got hurt. So he's coming off an injury, so that's not what you want, but it could be a good value sign and someone that has shown he's a good blocker. He could be a reliable target. And that's really the only guy I've seen. And obviously they could look in the draft. I mean, the tight ends in the draft this year are pretty solid. there's a lot of guys that could be available, later rounds.
I'm still gonna say this. I know this isn't the most happy camp, but bring back OJ.
That's an option
OJ,
too. Yeah.
well, I'm fully on the Kyle Trask camp. I think that's evident. I mean, get his Kyle Pitts, like bring OJ Howard. He was a beast in college. He just hasn't had the health, first of all, and then second of all, you bring all these guys in that aren't giving him an opportunity. I mean, he was the guy before Gronk started getting on later in last year, or not the year before last year, Super Bowl season, and then he gets hurt Achilles and never really sees the field after that. So
Mhm.
I don't think it's necessarily his play. I think it was just more opportunities, and other guys were stacked against him. So I think if you try and bring him back, make him a bigger role, give your young quarterback an option in the middle of the field that is a huge option. Athletic, speed, height, he has it all. Why the hell not? Um, I but just because Ken Barrett asked it, Matt Ryan, no. Even if it was a reasonable price, I've talked to Falcons fans that they want Matt Ryan off. They don't
Mhm.
want Matt Ryan even on the team. So, I mean, is it a 1 year and done too with him? Like you don't know how much is left in the tank.
Mhm.
Probably gonna have a fire sale with the Calvin Ridley news. He's probably gonna be suspended for the year for wagering on games. So
Yeah. Matt Ryan would be tough. First of all, his contract is just a mess, and you don't really want to, restructure it. It would cause problems and pretty much delay the inevitable, where
yeah,
you're going to get rid of him, eventually. And I don't think the Bucs want to move in that direction. If they were gonna, you know, might as well go younger if you're gonna go with, a different option. And I think that's why they're looking at, Trask and Blaine, where it's just more affordable, and you can also build the team around them better, and fill more holes that obviously you're facing right now.
and guys have already been in the system for more than a year. I mean, Matt
Yeah.
Ryan isn't Tom Brady. It's a
Yeah.
big
And
difference.
that's another thing that people aren't seeing, is like this system is very tough to learn. Like it's not it's not easy to pick up in the first year. So if you bring someone from the outside, it's going to be difficult for them to just start off very fast. It's going to take several weeks to a year to really grasp the system. So that's why I feel like it would be better to have guys that have been here and they're comfortable with the coaching staff, and know what to do from a schematical standpoint. So that's why giving up draft picks and stuff like that for big names, it's going to be tough. And really, the only option that could be available is Deshaun Watson, but you have all those legal issues that he's dealing with, and plus facing a suspension. It's just it's a tall mountain to climb right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're staying steady Eddie. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
do what they're saying. I mean, Kyle Trask, option one, Blake Abbott's probably going to be brought back, trade if possible, but if it works for them too. And I don't think there's just any that work money wise, and
Yeah.
plus they're not going to want to deal to the NFC South foe. It's just
Mm.
there's no possible way, in my opinion, that could happen.
Yeah.
But
It's very difficult.
now let's talk our other players besides the quarterback position.
Mm.
Chris Godwin, do you think he gets tagged, or do you think they find a way to get a long contract?
Obviously, you hope they can get a long-term deal. I mean, that would be the best for both parties. It
Well, not
helps.
political. Not political. What do you think?
What I think, they probably do tag him. I mean, it's close right now. I mean, obviously, I've seen like they're trying to get a long-term deal done, but I think they end up tagging him. And obviously, they know how important he is, and he's a key to the offense. So if you tag him, you still have till, I think it's July, to get a long-term deal done, which I think they will. They just need more time right now, and don't want him going to free agency and looking at other teams who can offer him, big time cash. So maybe they hit him with a transition tag where they can match other teams' offers. But if they don't want to match, they get 2 first-round picks. I don't know if team would do that, but you just never know.
I mean, I agree with you on that. I think they will tag him. I think he's vital for the success of this offense moving forward. I mean, Mike Evans and him just being that 1-2 punch. I mean, he does so much in this offense too.
Plus, he's so young. I mean, he's what, 25, 24 years old. I mean, he's not even hit his prime yet. And I think they trusted him enough coming off the ACL. I think this is a logical move. Obviously it sets you up for losing other players, and obviously you don't want to lose a Carlton Davis, but at the same time, you can always find corners, and this is a very strong corner class coming up. So
Yeah,
but
so
it's just very difficult position they're in.
yeah, so tomorrow at 4 is the franchise tag
Yes.
deadline. So let's see. Everyone's asking Bud Campbell's answers right here tomorrow at 4 p.m. And then I agree with this. Man, I'd rather see a deal done with CG and tag CD3. He's talking Godwin deal done and tag Carlton Davis, which is the big monkey or elephant in the room. If you don't sign back Chris Godwin on contract, Carlton Davis is worthy of a huge, huge increase in pay. And that's kind of, I'm sorry to use this website, and a lot of people have their if and ands and buts about it, but let's bring it over here. This is a quick little influence here. Joe Bucs fan says, leaving a message on his Instagram, I'm leaving with a bankroll if this work. This work right. So, I mean, obviously, he's worthy of a big pay increase, obviously, but if he did, like G Vegas said, if he hits free agency, he's likely gone. I mean, the guy that is well deserving. If he gets in there without a franchise tag, because we have to do it with Chris Godwin, he's getting way more than he will probably ever get here. So it hurts. That goes your CB1, which we've been saying for a while. A lot of people argued it. He'll show it in the money he will get in free agency if he does leave.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's part of this business, and obviously you don't want to lose players that you homegrown and develop. You like to keep those guys, through their second contracts, but sometimes it just can't be done with a certain salary cap and stuff that you have in front of you. But we'll see. I mean, I still trust Jason Light and his team to get a lot of this done moving forward. Obviously, you look at the offensive line, Ryan Jensen, that's the big piece. Alex Kappa, and then you look at your other starters, Rob Gronkowski, JPP, some of your veterans, and Dominican Sue, and obviously those guys they probably more likely to move on from if they can find younger, cheaper talent available. So the big names, Chris Godwin and Carlton, obviously would like to have brought back.
Yeah, I'm trying to zoom in on here so y'all can see this. I mean, this is a huge list. I mean, look at them average per year of what they should be making. Chris Godwin, JPP, Jensen, Sue, Gronk, Golson. I mean, he's almost worthy of a pay raise increase too because he's been performing. The running backs, they've been talking with every running back, it seems, like in the draft. So I think it's safe to say they're just running forward. Fournette, Rojo not coming back, I would assume. And just tag someone with Keyshawn Vaughn. I mean, they talk nothing but good stuff about Keyshawn. So running back position, okay. It's just corner if you lose Carlton Davis, it's going to be a very sharp decline in caliber of player. That means you're putting SMB and Dean on the outsides.
I mean, Dean, I think is still a very good corner when he was out there, and obviously when he was CB1,
when he's healthy.
Yeah, I mean, and then you can say the same thing about Carlton Davis. I mean, he's missed a lot of games over the several years he's been here, and maybe that's something that the Bucs are looking at in negotiations, and maybe that's why they're willing to not tag him and tag a more valuable player in Chris Godwin, who also has been hurt and has missed his games because of injury. So I mean, it's tough when you look at it from that standpoint. But Jamel Dean, I talked a lot about, during the season. I thought he was very good and played a lot better as the season went on. And when he was called upon to be that top shutdown corner, he did his job. At the same time, they got to catch the ball. Carlton Davis doesn't catch the ball. Jamel Dean's got to catch the ball. So,
Yeah.
there's a lot from when you look at it overall picture. They need more cornerbacks coming up anyway. Cornerback, safeties. We haven't even talked about Jordan Whitehead. I mean, he's a huge part of this defense, and I don't know if they're able to get him back either. So it's tough. The secondary's probably going to look different if obviously these guys are heading out to elsewhere.
And it does suck. Oh, Rob Dunlap, long time, my man. CD has stone hands. And I agree with that. I agree with what you're saying. None of our corners can catch. I mean, I think SMB was the only one that could catch, and he's another one that's always hurt or just not performing well.
Yeah.
You want to keep your best players, put it that way. I mean, that's part of the equation of winning games. You keep your good players, right?
Mm.
It's just going to be difficult. I mean, how do you manage that cap, especially with your dead cap money you have still from 2 players? It's going to be a lot of juggling, and if you lose your best corner, it is scary. And then Jordan Whitehead, I don't know. Hopefully people see his size. Oh, he's just a one-trick pony, shoulder injury.
Yeah.
But, I mean, a lot of question marks. This is the scary part. The undecided is always kind of fun for me, but this one right here,
Yeah.
I think you got to let JPP walk, honestly. I know that a lot of people love his excitement on the field, getting the fans into it, but his level of play just dropped. And, I mean, how many times are you going to drain your knee every year? So let the young guys kind of thrive in there unless you really are keen in on a cornerback at 27, even though you do have, to me, areas of weakness in the defensive line just to get after the quarterback to help that secondary.
Yeah.
That's our 2 cents.
For sure. Good question here by Payday 39. Who would you rather have back, Jensen or Kappa? I think this answer for me, it's obvious. I'd rather have Ryan Jensen. A good center is tougher to find than a good guard. I think you can find guards anywhere. I think they're out there, especially in the draft, or you can find a free agent that's not too expensive. So I'd rather have Ryan Jensen because center is the key to everything on the offensive line, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's like it's helping the quarterback out as well. Don't you want to find a way to help out your quarterback as best you can? I mean, Brady's transition into the offense was Blaine Gabbert helping him on the sideline with the offense, and then Jensen helping with calls until Brady just took over everything, seeing everything. That's another extra pair of eyes to use, and Jensen was damn good at it and aggressive and a tone center and everything you want in a gritty center. And losing him, you can't just pick this guy up and throw him in there as a rookie center or a veteran that, again, has to learn the system again, throw him in there. It's tougher. And I think Jensen has his feet in the ground in this place. I don't think he will leave, honestly. But if he does, that's another huge loss. I agree with you fully. Jensen way over Kappa. I mean, Kappa was a 3rd-round pick, but he was almost like a guy just got better as years went on.
Right.
I don't know. I agree with you. Signing a veteran is probably a lot easier than losing Jensen at center.
Yeah. Again, a lot of decisions to be made as free agency is coming around the corner. I think it's starting next Monday, I believe, when they can open up negotiations. So we're a week away, and then March 16th, I think, is the start of the league year where trades and free agents signings become official. So a lot to be done. Can they do it? Yes. They did it last year and found ways to make things work. So obviously the cap can be manipulated. They can put it more on the credit card. Obviously you don't want to do that, but we'll see what happens. They can pull some magic out of their hats. Definitely.
I mean, Kappa was the weakest link until Wirfs got hurt. Yeah, but he wasn't necessarily that weak of a link. I mean, from years past with, I got to bring his name up, Caleb Benenoch, that was a gaping hole. I mean, Kappa got better this year. He wasn't bad. The offensive line was really damn good this year, to be honest. There wasn't many, usual character, or everyone would probably say Donovan Smith, but he played damn good this year.
Yeah.
The whole line did. So you just lost. You could be losing your both guards.
Mm.
Scary.
Well,
Especially-
you've already lost a Pro Bowler, in Ali Marpet. You could lose another Pro Bowler in Ryan Jensen. So those are not easy to replace, and it's just, it kind of stinks. So hopefully they can, develop guys. Hopefully Robert Hainsey takes another step and gets better. You look at Aaron Stinney, who could be back on a cheap deal. That could be an option for one of the guard spots. You still have Nick Leverett on the team, who I thought showed decent play when he was in there as interior guy. So yeah, I mean, there's options, and obviously this draft is strong in interior offensive line and offensive tackles that could be guards, or so there are options. Obviously one name that gets a lot of talk is the Boston College guard Zion Johnson. He could be, he could be an option at 27, no doubt. So,
but I'll say this: it'll put the test to Wirfs and Donovan Smith. I mean,
yes.
they're going to have to step up their games because their helping hands and inside aren't going to be as helping if we lose both of them. We already lost Marpet, so Donovan's going to have to step up. I mean, if Hainsey does move over to guard, hopefully, because Jensen stays, okay, at least you got a guy that's been in the system, knows what's to be of the standard, and hopefully he got his weight up, because that's one area he did need to improve on. But he's a technician. Hopefully a year of maturation, almost like Kappa did, got better as he went on. So hopefully that's one hole that's filled, but yeah, still one gaping Pro Bowl hole.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, obviously it's not going to be the same team. You look at the secondary, there's going to be areas to address, and they're going to have to look at options in the draft. Again, it's another strong group. Cornerback safety group is good for this year's class. So really it lines up well for them from a draft standpoint. Skill position players are strong this year. Offensive line's pretty good. Defensive line group is really good, especially the edge group. Defensive tackle, not so strong. We kind of talked about that in our 2 film studies. Be sure to check those out. We just put them up. Devonta Wyatt and Logan Hall, one out of Georgia and one out of Houston. Pretty good players with some upside. I think Devonta Wyatt obviously is defensive tackle 1 in this class. I think most would agree with that. So there are some good options, and linebackers a good group this year. Really, it's a pretty overall good solid draft, especially day 2, day 3, where you're looking for good value.
Yeah, let me bring this up. So look at all the red on this screen. This is your Buccaneer depth chart. All the red is free agents right now. So looking bleak. And then they should put a red over Ali Marpet or just take his name out. So like all the starters on offense are losing. I mean, you lost Brady already. You lost Marpet already. You could technically be losing 4 other starters. And it's kind of crazy. And then Sue, does he retire? Does he sign back? That's where BA was saying, I think he wants to come back, but I think and I know is 2 totally different things.
Yeah.
Golson, I hope he keeps doing with this home discount. Y'all know my theory on GPP is, and then the 2 big dogs in the back. So where do they go with? Do they continue to build on the pass rush to help out the secondary? Maybe they let him walk and get his big money, or do they bring him back and try and run back what they've did? I mean, you're going to get more of an identity, I think, with this year, basing off of the big decisions they got to make. I mean, you got plenty of safeties, to be honest. I mean, do they just let Whitehead go and let Edwards fill in? These are the question marks you got to have. Like, are they going to build through pass rush and helping the secondary out that way? That's why you have 2 ball hawk safeties. Or do you bring back Carlton Davis? That's like the big question mark to me.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. And obviously that picture will come clearer tomorrow at 4 p.m. Knowing who we tagged, maybe there's a deal done. So a lot of things that have to take place. So you look at that. You look at obviously receivers. If they let obviously I think Chris is going to stay now because there's just too much fire to that him being tagged. I think it's going to happen regardless, either him tagged or he gets a deal. So he's not going anywhere. But, you look at the draft and do they look more into skill position players this year? Tight end, running back. Obviously they're talking to a lot of running backs so far at the combine. That was a story out there where they talked to a lot of the top names, a lot of guys that, we've talked about here on this channel. Brees Hall, Kenneth Walker the third, Isaiah Spiller, Max Borghi. So obviously they're looking at all different style running backs that can help them in a various number of ways, and also could be drafted in different rounds, of the draft. So very interesting to see how they're going to approach it. And do they get younger this year on both sides of the ball? It looks like it could be that way if they can't get some of these guys back.
Well, one thing I do like, a lot of them are pass catching running backs. I mean, and even Pierce. I think they were talking with Pierce too from Florida. Like
Right.
Gator connection, hopefully helping Trask out. fellow Gator, but we'll see. That's again, I'm gonna be saying this all season long because
that's the trade they need to make. They need to trade for Kyle Pitts. Obviously, Atlanta would never do that, but
forget Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Blaine Gabbert, Kyle Pitts, straight up. Let's do that. But I mean, yeah, look at running backs. How if you're new here, we are never going to say draft a running back high. You can always get a better value later. Build the offensive line, make it an easier decision for your running back. You don't need to pay a running back. Just filter them in and out. It can happen. Okay, it's just reading a hole, hitting a hole. If you can catch the ball, you're even better. Okay, so and they get hurt so often. It's just the valid reasoning. But I want to say this. I haven't talked to you about this yet.
Mm-hmm.
I know I want to draft edge rusher or just somewhere of that nature in the first round. But what would it be if, because I have a crush on this guy, we have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Everyone was saying, Antonio Brown, if we would have had him, we would have won.
Mm-hmm.
Just because that top three was going to be loaded. What if they do draft another receiver? Dare I say, second round, a guy that could fall, a guy I'm really high on, like George Pickens.
Mm-hmm.
Second round may fall just because of his injury before last season. If they can get that trio, that would be in freaking sane, and that would fit BA's agenda of just receivers first. We're a passing team.
Yeah.
And you'd have three literally legit guys that can beat anyone one-on-one. I think that would be humongous for us, especially with hopefully a young quarterback. So what are your stance on that? Or dare I say, what if they go all in and go first round wide receiver?
Yeah, I mean, first round receiver, there could be options. I don't know if they do that, just based on more pressing needs that probably will be there. When you look at edge rusher, you look at cornerback, you look at offensive line, those three positions are probably more pressing than receiver in round one. But again, it just depends on how the board plays out. If you have a Treylon Burks staring you in the face at 27, you have to consider it. You look at Chris Olave, you look at Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, that's what we gotta look at too.
Yeah, you look at, there's a lot of names. You look at Christian Watson, he's a guy, small school kid that is, turning heads right now. So
Tampa boy too.
Yeah, it's a deep receiver group, and obviously George Pickens, I think, would be an excellent fit, especially on day 2, where you could probably get him, in that late second round, maybe third round. You never know because of the injury that he's coming off of. So yeah, I mean, a lot of good dudes at receiver, and I think the Bucs have drafted a receiver pretty much every year with Jason Light, so they're going to draft one, in some round. I just don't know how high that will be.
I feel like we always draft a receiver too.
Mm-hmm.
But if this happened, Farouk Kawab back in the chat, my man.
What's up,
long
man?
time no see, missed you too. Seriously.
Yep.
It's gonna be a long off season, but we're gonna get through it together, guys. I like this comment up here. Where is this? Because he probably saw our film study of it. I think Jensen provides more value than Kappa on and off the field for the next 3 years. I agree with that. O-line leader, calming influence for young quarterback. I agree with that as well. He will humble our first-round pick, Devonta Wyatt. If Devonta Wyatt fell to 27,
Yeah.
I would be jumping up and down. We were excited for JTS last year in the live stream. You'll see me lose my shit. Seriously, if he falls to 27, we take him.
Yeah, he's really good. He's, I think, head and shoulders above every defensive tackle in this class. He's obviously DT1. You know, a lot of people talk about Jordan Davis, and obviously Jordan Davis had a freak combine with the 4.7 whatever 40 he ran. You know, at his size, 6'6", 340. That would be an awesome pairing. Not to say it wouldn't be. You know, with Jordan Davis and Vita Vea, that's two massive human beings in the middle, and not much you can do to move those guys or push them back. And it would be fun. It'd be like Marcus Stroud and John Henderson of the old days of Jacksonville Jaguars. But Devonta Wyatt brings that quick first step, explosive guy that can also be an anchor in your run game, but also provide some pass rush ability because he's that quick and has a lot of good things to his arsenal. So be sure to check out our film study. He's one of the latest ones we've done. Obviously, we got a ton more to get out there for you guys, as this draft will be here very soon. It feels like it's coming so fast this year. I didn't really watch much of the combine. I just saw a lot of notes and tidbits of it. For whatever reason, I just wasn't very interested in watching it this year. I don't know why. But you know, a lot of speed. I will say that. A lot of athletic dudes that ran some fast 40s.
Yeah, insane how many 4.3s there were. Insane.
Yeah.
What's in the water? Like, what the hell? But I agree with you. Like, I didn't really watch much of it. I just saw like the highlights after.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we're still sad about what's going on. But
yeah.
Hey, like, we move forward, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's March Madness, you know, and with March Madness coming up, you know, obviously we got college basketball, you know, coming around the corner. Obviously NFL free agency that we've talking about. But guys, if you haven't signed up for DraftKings yet, be sure to do so. Use the promo code TPPN and bet on some of these games that are coming up in college basketball. A good way to earn yourself some money. Bet $1 and you could potentially win $150 in free money. So really cool promo. Be sure to check that out. Help support our channel. Also help support the Pigskin Podcast Network as well. So be sure to check out DraftKings there.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to add one other thing. Another thing why Devonta Wyatt makes sense. You heard BA when asked about defensive tackles, and during the combine presser, he was like, okay, we need to get more speed up front, especially at defensive tackle position. We got a Vita Vea. We don't need another guy like that. He literally verbatim said that.
Yeah.
So do I think Jordan Davis is the option? I highly doubt it. Even though he ran fast, he's just a massive individual like Vita Vea. It would help linebackers behind us. Yeah, I agree with that. But
I think you can find those guys later, though, if you want one.
So I'm a huge Devonta Wyatt fan. If he made it that far, I'd be ecstatic. I just don't think he will because of his ability to get after the quarterback and play at 3 tech. But damn, if he does.
It's very possible that he could be there because you look at the edge rush group, and it's a very strong one. You have a lot of edge rushers that could go early, and obviously there's always a premium for pass rushers. And especially with the quarterback class being as weak as it is, you don't know when those quarterbacks are going to go. And then also you have very good receivers and corners that I think will take up a lot of spots as well. I'll mix that in with safeties and your offensive tackles and your guards. So it's very possible that a defensive tackle falls this year because it is just a very weak group overall.
Yeah, to be honest, who was the first defensive tackle taken last year?
That's a great question. I should know this. I don't know. Guys in the chat, help us out. Use that Google.
Right?
I'm not sure right now. I should know the name.
I'm just so hung up on.
Yeah.
We're just sitting there waiting for 32 the whole time. Mm-hmm. Having fun waiting for 32. But I don't know. If it did happen, that would solidify a position of need, a position for future, and help everyone behind him. So if we didn't sign Carlton Davis back, we got a guy like that. your inside is going to be so much better, allowing JTS, Shaq Barrett, everything to collapse down on quarterbacks. I'd be ecstatic about that. And yeah, we're going to see our direction real fast come tomorrow at 4, real fast.
Yeah. I'm actually looking it up right now. I'm trying to see who was the first defensive tackle.
Also, I wanted to bring this up. So that Cole Kelly guy, plus was not lying. Man, 6'7", 248 pounds. That's a tall glass of water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a big dude.
BA salivating. He's got some mobility. Look at this. Oh, mechanics 1.5 out of 5. Just some of the funny things you go through.
It looks like the first defense tackle was taken in round 2 last year, which was Christian Barmore, and then you had Levi Ozarike, second one.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's very much possible.
Yep. So yeah, you just never know. Yeah, he could definitely be there, but again, it just depends on, is he the best player for what your needs are? Do you want to push another player over him that will help you make a bigger impact at another position? So a lot to think about. Obviously, you would hope they would want Devonta Wyatt. He's a very good player, guy that could come in and obviously start right away and give you impact value.
Hey, now you just intrigued me though. But I agree with you. I think a lot of the edge rushers are going to go first. Like some of these guys get reached for just based off of ability.
Right.
Especially you look half of the second or the first round.
Right.
On guys that could have been higher, or they just don't want the top of the second round type people getting.
Yeah. I mean, well, you look at the guys that we've looked at already on our channel, Arnold Ebikadi, you look at David Ojabo, Jermaine Johnson, Kayvon Thibodeau, obviously a top 10 player. Aiden Hutchinson. We haven't brought him yet, but there's just a lot of good pass rushers that should go in the top half of the first round.
I mean, you have guys that showed up in the Senior Bowl, like I forgot his name, Chad Muma, or what his name is.
Chad Muma, the linebacker.
Yeah, Mafe.
Boye Mafe. Yeah,
Boye Mafe. That's what it is.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you were talking about the linebacker. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
But the Mafe, another beast that showed up in the Senior Bowl. Like,
yeah,
there's plenty of edge rushers. Do we want to pick at the litter at our pick, or do we wait for later? I mean,
right. Mafe could be our pick as well. I mean, he's another good option. Ran fast at the combine. I think 4.5, something like that. Ridiculous. So, a lot of athletic dudes that definitely fit our style of play, what we need from the outside linebacker position. So, yeah, good options. And then we haven't really dived into this cornerback class, but it is very strong. You look at Elam from Florida. You look at Auburn corners. There's a couple of them there. Obviously we've gone down that road already, plenty of times. But yeah, there's a lot of cornerbacks that could provide an impact. You look, Washington always produces, it seems like, corners every year. They have Trent McDuffie and I think it's I forget the other guy's name, Kyler Gordon, I want to say. So a lot of good dudes out there.
Like, that's why I said if our direction is let Carlton Davis go, you're gonna obviously see her cornerbacks in a high priority of what they address later.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm excited. Let's put it that way. I'm excited for a new beginning, new direction, and it's not a total rebuild. It's just more, where is your direction leading? Is it going to be solidifying the pass rush to help out your pass coverage? That's how I would go.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I mean, it does hurt and sting to have Carlton Davis kind of walk, but I mean, he's going to get big money, and I'd rather pay a premium on the guys going after the quarterback than the guys that have to sit there and wait when you're getting help over the top. It's usually what helps out. So, yeah. I don't know. We're going to find out in a day.
Yeah. Decisions are going to be coming over the next week. Obviously, there's going to be more lies put out there, more rumors that are just not true, and a lot of it bogus. So be sure to make sure you're checking out the right sources. Stay with the local media. Make sure you're checking out Greg Allman, Rick Stroud, Pewter Report. Obviously, us as well. We'll try to report the right news if we see it. So, not going to be throwing out any BS out there.
Yeah, well, maybe here and there. But any other areas of need do you think?
Well,
Like,
really, I think it's when you look at this team, obviously when you're building a team, and I think Jason Light has done a pretty good job when doing that. And you got to look at the lines up front. I think that's where they need to be strong. Offensive line, defensive line, you got to have it. So obviously that's going to be your big priorities. And then after that, I think you can find ways to get your skill players. Receiver, I still think there's really good receivers still on this roster. Obviously you have Mike Evans, who's a stud, and don't really know what you have yet in Tyler Johnson or Scotty Miller. I just think they need more opportunities. Same thing with Jalen Darden. And obviously you bring back Chris Godwin. I think that's a pretty good group right there. If they're developed properly and they're healthy, that could be something to hold on to. And then, tight end, running back, obviously that, resources are going to be needed there. And then the back end, the corners and the safeties. So biggest priority though for me, and I think you agree with this, it's the lines. You got to go after the fat guys.
I wholeheartedly agree, and that's how we've been so competitive the last few years. Not just because Tom Brady, but Brady had time to throw, and then no one could get through our line. You couldn't run on us. We made you one-dimensional.
And I forgot about Cyril Grayson. So good point, Bud Campbell. I think he's another dude that could be something too. He showed signs.
Other than that, just Chris Godwin, stay healthy.
Yeah.
The tag, stay healthy.
Yeah. Chandler, I see Chandler Jones in the chat. Tom, I don't think we would be able to afford him. That'd be awesome if we could bring him in. I think it'd be perfect with what we need, but obviously it's going to be a big payday.
Yeah, that's something we kind of brought up in the beginning of the offseason. Where did we see the biggest lack or area of improvement needed to be going on in the offseason? That was getting after the quarterback and not having to manufacture it by sending in every blitz possible. We couldn't win with the 4 front man. We couldn't win with just our down linemen. We couldn't win at all. And we'd had to keep sending either corner blitzes or linebacker blitzes, things Bulls likes to do, but you don't want to have to do that every damn time because the quarterback's holding the ball all day. Vita Vea gets doubled. Shaq usually gets doubled. No one else is winning. So that was an issue, and I think that needs to be resolved, and it needs to be your first pick, to be honest. And that's going to solidify your defensive line. Offensive line, like you were mentioning earlier, sign a free agent for a guard. You have your bookends and Donovan Smith and Wirfs. I think, to be honest, it's just build that pass rush. I mean, that's priority 1, 2, and 3 for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Obviously, you look at the Super Bowl year, we were able to win with the front 4. Yeah. Last year, we couldn't do it just because of inconsistencies. And I think teams they figured out who to block, and they did a good job of taking away, our strengths in that pass rush. And obviously, JPP taking his step back didn't do us any favors. And then, the utilization of JTS, he wasn't quite ready. And hopefully he takes a big leap this year. We need it because he's going to have to produce way more than he did last year, and obviously play at a higher rate. And, guys like that, Anthony Nelson, they got to take steps forward.
Yeah. Farouk Wab asking, is Anthony Nelson an unrestricted free agent?
Not yet. He will be in 2023, I believe. So the next following season.
Yeah, he's still under contract. Don't worry. We got one more on him. And he did extremely well last year when he given his opportunity. Let's see if he makes another leap forward. I mean, he looks more and more like Carl Nassib every time. It's crazy. And Carl Nassib was nasty for us for that last season he was with us. I mean, But still, there's no one you're scared of a speed edge rusher. I know BA says we need a speed inside. I just really badly want a speed edge rusher on this team. I mean,
Mm.
get a guy that can turn the edge and has to step up into Vita Vea. Good God. I mean, maybe JTS is that guy. Maybe he just hasn't
Right.
flashed because opportunity
Mm.
and just developing his body more. So, and that's probably why people are saying, or Tom said, Chandler Jones possibility.
Mm.
Insane, but we just don't have the money considering people, we're cash strapped right now. I mean, I don't know where they're going to find the pennies to do it. And not to mention, are they going to bring back Gronkowski? Does he even want to come back? I mean, that's a huge chunk of change right there.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to do some restructuring to create cap space, and obviously they have some guys that they could do it for, and obviously get some money to put back into said free agents. Ali Marpet retiring does give them some money to work with, so that's a nice kind of trade off. So we just have to wait and see. Obviously, there's going to be plenty of moves over the next several days. Just got to hope they're the right ones.
Mhm.
And I think you got to trust, this staff and coaches that they will do that.
I don't know if anyone's seen it. When they interview the Bucs staff, like the scouting personnel and front office at the combine, they all say the same shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of boring part of it. We're just asking questions. That's the good part. I don't like them running in their underwear. Like all said the same things, and I'm like, oh, I guess they keep it close knit. They're not gonna really give away anything, and those are Jason Knight's boys. Why bother? Just cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I mean, that's a good sign showing that they are on the same page, and got to have that one common goal. So yeah, just can't wait. It's a lot of late nights coming up. That's for sure.
All right, so if one comes back, a veteran that needs to be coming back, Gronkowski or Sue, which one do you want more?
Yeah, that's tough because I mean both I think have different impacts. Obviously Gronk as a blocker, but also just an ultimate comfort weapon, and that'd be awesome for Kyle Trask to have to throw to, just to build confidence and feel comfortable out there. But then Sue, I thought played his best game last year. I thought he was on the top of his game and just seemed like he was getting better and better. So yeah, I don't know. That's you could go either way. Either way with
Push.
yeah, either way with any of those guys. Yeah.
I'd honestly say, I'd probably say Sue, to be honest, because I think Gronk's just going to leave.
Yeah.
And I think BA
I
is
think
like,
it's
if
yeah.
Brady's not here,
Plus you gotta look at it, we don't really feature the tight end, even though Gronk still had a great season last year. That's just because of Tom. Tom loves Gronk and he's gonna find him. But yeah, I don't know. I think Sue would be obviously a good person to have back on the defensive line.
oh, wait a minute. We got Andrew Zanas. He says, ran into Vol Soyinka at Harvard, Nobel winner in world literature. He's as big as Joe. Too bad he's 87 years old. I'm assuming that's his grandfather, I'm assuming.
I don't know. That's pretty cool.
Big, but he's 87 years old. That's pretty legit. Nobel winner at world literature. Okay. I wonder what exactly in world literature. But cool. Thanks for the tidbit. Farouk Wab said Gronk. Bud Campbell said Sue. See, it is a tough one.
Yeah.
I just think, like you said, like BA doesn't feature tight ends, so Sue fits more of our mold of run stuffing, and he got 6 sacks last year. Damn, how's that possible? I don't know. And I just think Gronk without Brady, that connection's not there no more, and you don't want BA getting upset with Gronk.
Yeah.
Keep that Hall of Fame trajectory. And fingers, Mark and Pless, best Bucs podcast on YouTube. Go Bucs, I agree. I agree. And then one more. Bud Clemens said, I say sue because we're losing JPP. But you never know. Supposedly, the rumors are we're bringing all three back.
Yeah, they're all coming back, guys. I mean, nothing to worry about.
I mean, that's a lot of rumors.
Yeah.
It is what it is. We're going to find out real shortly. I just hope it is all the right path. Let's get that right path and don't overpay for areas that you can improve on in the draft or build through. I know I'm kind of leaning toward let Carlton Davis walk, but it does scare me to have Jamil Dean and SMB as your starting corners. That hurts. It hurts bad.
There's a lot of work to do. You know, that's nothing. I mean, can't say it much better than that. There's a lot of stuff to be done. So it's time to get to work. I think they will. I think they'll find ways to bring back who obviously they want to have back, and if they want you back, they're going to find ways to get you back on the team. We just got to hope they can sell it and make it happen.
I'll say this too. Carlton Davis leaves, Ross Cockrell seeing even more playing time.
Yeah, Ross Cockrell won't be on the team. Ross Cockrell, Bradley Pinion, and a couple other guys are going to be cut.
They're on the roster right now. But as of right now,
I know
he's on the roster. Be prepared. That's all I'll say.
We're going to be drafting 2 corners, and that guy's not going to be playing. So,
yeah, I hope so. We need speed in the secondary. They've been saying speed. They need speed.
They need speed. They need speed everywhere. Really, I think that's where they got to focus on speed up front, speed on the outside. It's got to have it. You look at the Rams who won the Super Bowl. They had fast players. And I think that's, something that we got to get better at and get more speed.
Fast, smart players, but
yes,
that's just me. All right, guys. Other than that, that's about our hour. If you guys have anything else, let us know. But I think we're heading out right now. Plus, do it to it.
Yeah, again, thank you guys so much for joining us. We much appreciate it here on YouTube. Give us a like, subscribe if you haven't just yet, and just continue to help support the channel. We're going to have more content coming out through the months here as we get closer to the start of the regular season. Long way to go, but we're excited just to bring you guys more fun, interactive content. So please give us comments on, who you want to see as far as a draft prospect or certain topics you want to discuss. We're always open to it because we do this for you guys. So again, thank you so much. And as always, go Bucs.
Go Bucs.